Welcome back to Wave Listens Live here on this Friday. We've got the Elder Advisors back with us again, of course, specializing in protecting your assets, that peace of mind, making sure you don't go broke in a nursing home.
Don't do it, Brian. You don't have to.
I hope I'm a little ways off from there, but we talked about it. Never too early to plan.
Not for you, Brian. Not for you.
Not for me. This is Larry Weiss, owner and president. We've got...
Hello, Kentuckiana.
Autumn
and
Schneider.
Elizabethtown.
In the middle.
Yes.
Autumn Schneider joining us today.
Schneider, Director of Client Services, and we are very happy and excited to have Miss Amy Wheatley from Stein Law with us today. And Stein Law will be our guest speakers for the month of May at the workshops.
Giving us some legal perspective.
Well, because I'm not an attorney giving legal advice.
Right.
I give hair color advice for men and maybe some financial tips, but I don't do the legal.
Some suiting advice. You always look wonderful on the set here.
I'm a man of the peeps.
Okay, speaking of, I told you not to warn me. We have props on set today that match your tie, so I'll let you launch right into it.
Well, you know, actually what I want to launch into is a genuine thank you for everybody at the Wave 3 community. I mean, this is a home for elder advisors. We know everybody from Mr. John, the station manager, down to Hannah in the booth right now, certainly Brian. And by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, being here. This is your first full week here with Wave 3 Listens Live.
I got to hang with you guys 3 times.
It's a blessing for all of us. It's a blessing for all of us. But we really just love the Wave 3 community. And, you know, dare I say, you know, I'm not comfortable with the word success, but I'll say a lot of the blessings that we have is because of Wave 3 and the community that watches Wave 3. So I'm very genuine about that, and I know Autumn shares my opinion as well with that.
Well, they're wonderful people. That's why I keep coming back to hang with them, and I get to talk to so many people out and about.
We're very blessed.
Churchill Downs, everywhere I see everyone.
Very
so
blessed.
I know that they are obviously behind the important work that you guys do. So Autumn, I'll go to you first. When you start getting ready for these workshops that are coming up and knowing the type of people you're going to get to meet and help, what are those moments like?
Oh, those are very good moments. I mean, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what situation is going to come forward, whether it's somebody maybe going into a nursing home, somebody already at a nursing home, or just some family, you know, maybe the kids are coming in to kind of see what options we have for their parents. And then, you know, hopefully they're going to get some smiles and some laughter out of our workshops because you're dealing with this guy. So
funny. Well, he can make a situation that maybe was scary before. You'll settle it down and show that there is a path forward.
Well, and there is, Brian, because, you know, no surprise, this is tough stuff. It's worrisome, it's stressful. So many of the families are on the verge of tears when they sit down, and here's a news flash. I'm a little bit of a clown, whole lot of a clown. But, you know,
Says who?
I'm blessed. I am blessed. Thank you, Brian.
says me.
Autumn is here to keep my ego in check. It's never a problem. She always cuts me off at the knees all the time. But it is stressful, and so, you know, 95% of the world get me. You know, the other 5 don't, sorry. But those are the people that get annoyed when a squirrel's in the yard. I can't fix all the problems of the world. But when I have to get serious, I'm the first one to get serious because this is tough stuff. But a lot of times when people come in, the last thing you're expecting is a little laughter, a little silliness, because it is such a draining emotional thing. You know, I had a gentleman come in yesterday. It was a client we had 5 or 6 years ago. And he'd had a trust book opened up, and he said, well, you know, you did this trust. And I said, well, no. I looked at it, I said, well, you know, Steve Langdon, he's an attorney with CWB. Steve did this trust, and I said, everything you're talking about is legal, and I would encourage you to call Steve's office. He's a good guy. They'll do a good job for you, but that is legal. I don't do that part. And that's why we always like to have attorneys at the workshops, because, you know, we may be talking about real estate, we may be talking about getting appraisals or things like that, but there's almost always a legal nuance, and that's why we're delighted to have Amy Wheatley this month in Stein Law help clients at the workshops.
Yeah, and so Amy, I'll direct this next one to you. Look, it may seem obvious why you need an attorney through this process, but if somebody were to ask you that question out at the workshops, what's the simplest way of why you need an attorney on your side?
Well, because you need to make sure that you plan what's going to happen to your money after you pass away, before you pass away. You need to make those decisions ahead of time. It's always better. You don't want your loved ones to be left with trying to figure out what your wishes were, where is this going to go, what's going to happen to the house. And, you know, a lot of people think, oh, if I have a will, that's good enough. But, you know, that isn't enough. That isn't it. You have a will only does so much, and then it has to go into probate, and then, you know, that takes time, that takes money. And so there are a lot of aspects to an estate plan, and it's always better to do that right now, and that way your loved ones aren't left wondering, what did Mom want me to do with this? You know, that way it's already written out.
You're doing it when you're able to instead of when you're forced to or somebody else is forced to take care of it. On the peace of mind side, we always talk about peace of mind when you guys are here. Why is that such an important aspect that you want to preach when we're trying to help these folks?
Well, the peace of mind, the building block for families, you know, because at the workshop there's 3 keys of crisis. crisis planning. There's someone in a nursing home, they're in rehab, we can help. That's crisis planning for husband and wife, Brian. We can protect all the assets. For a single person, about half. And that's crisis planning. Second is pre-crisis planning. Someone's at home getting some rehab, we can still help get some things lined up. And then the third variable is how many people want to avoid these problems for themselves and give themselves peace of mind in the future. That's pre-planning, and all three of those components have legal component. That's why we have Stein Law coming in May. But the building block, I had a family this morning. I asked him, I said, do you and your husband have power of attorney for each other? These people have been married 40 years. No. And that's just devastating. The peace of mind for Kentuckiana is come to the workshops, make use of the fact you've got attorneys there that can answer these questions. Just because they've been married 40 years does not give them the legal or financial authority to deal with certain things. They need to have power of attorney. Because if they don't have power of attorney, Kentuckiana, what happens, Amy?
Well, then they can't do a lot of things for someone. A bank won't let them do, if they're not on the account, the bank's not going to talk to them. If they want to try and sell some sort of life insurance policy or anything else, they can't sell anything.
You're going to run into a host of headaches and roadblocks.
Everywhere,
yeah.
Yes.
When you've got we got the 3 workshops coming up, anything that you were hoping is asked this year? I know you guys get different things at all of them, but is there anything specific that y'all are hoping, this is what I hope people are getting away from this?
Well, I think the first thing is, does this really work? It does. No one thing can do well. That's what Elder Advisors does. It works. You just have to know the right people that manage this skill set every day, and that's why we're doing the workshops. And E-Town has just been blowing up the email Eventbrite.
Is that because of your
well, we haven't been there before.
Okay.
I think that's a lot of it.
Yep.
And so then go to freeworkshop.com and register. But it is good news. It's good news because the time to do this was yesterday, and like Lindsay has said so many times, the time to plant a tree was 20 years ago or today. It's never too late. It's never too late. There's always going to be a couple empty seats because those people have subscribed to the barbershop law that nothing can be done. It's too late. And it's not. It's still stressful, but we can help because that's part of what Autumn does is take the stress off the shoulders because Autumn has become our placement angel to help families find places because it is so hard just to do a Google search. Because people don't even answer the phone.
Where to start?
Where do I go?
Yeah.
Where do I go?
So Autumn, this is perfect for you. So we got about a minute in this break. But when people are trying to go throughout that process, what is one of the top things that you would like to share with them when they come to you for your services?
Well, if we're talking a placement for the nursing homes, the top thing is, not everybody has a Medicaid bed. That's the number one thing. I mean, you have to know who does, know who will work with us, and that goes a long way. A lot of people kind of Google, oh, I like this place. Well, yes, but when you come to Elder Advisors, we know if this place may be a fit or maybe won't be a fit. So that's probably the top.
All right, well, we've got more with the Elder Advisors, more advice. We've got the peeps. Hopefully we get to the bottom of Larry's peeps.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
Neither do I. We'll see you in a couple minutes.